YouTube, this is SEL0320 representing JBS. I'm back here again for a spoiler-filled review for the brand new hit movie, Zootopia. I just did my non-spoiler review. If you have not watched the movie, please take this video, put it in your watch later, come back to it, because this movie you have to see. I gave it easily an 8.5 out of 10. It was definitely a classic in its own right because of a lot of different things that I'm going to try to go to as best I can. The movie surrounds a main character by the name of Judy Hopps. Judy comes from a small family, small town. Her family, her dynamics, her parents, in the very beginning, it has her in a play, like, acting, and she basically tells all the different people and all the different family members and parents that are there that you can become whoever you want to be, and that's one of the central themes of this film. And then her parents kind of looking like, what is she doing, you know? And one of the first things that happens is Judy comes in front of her first villain slash bully, but I think it's a villain in its own right because of the fact that it plants something in her heart that it motivates her and it cripples her at the same time. Basically, this fox decides that she's stupid. She's never gonna be what she wants to be, which is a cop, and that she's too small. And so he scratches her and he said, I want you to remember this mark that's on your face because you'll never be what you're trying to be. And she takes it, you know, and he was bullying these other animals, and she ends up getting the stuff back from him regardless. And the other animals like, you're awesome, you're this, you're that. And they asked her what's she gonna do. And she's like, well, you know, in the middle of the fight, he said, you know, you just don't give up, do you? He's right about that. But I will not quit. I will do this. I will do that. And that stuff motivates her to be the best police officer she can. She ends up going great into the academy. She does all these great things. She gets there into Zootopia, where she's trying to get to, and realizes that life is a lot harder than she realized. But one of the things that I said that crippled her is the fact that she looked at foxes with fear. And with fear comes a lot of concern and at the same exact time prejudice as far as the connections that we have from relationships. Like, one person can cause an idea to implant in our heart that this person and whatever is associated with them, whatever their race is, or in this movie implied whatever kind of animal type they are, they can be detrimental essentially, and that is ingrained into her heart. And basically it causes her, when she interacts with the character Nick, who's a fox, to be more or less like judgmental. Like, off the gate when she first looks at him, she's like, oh, he's definitely a troublemaker. And this is, to me, looking at it as an African American male, that is what it can be assessed. Like, if I go outside with a hat, you know, kind of like this, like, it's okay. But if I come out with like a fitted, and I come out with like a jacket just because I don't care, I could be technically I could be racially profiled. And this is kind of one of the dynamics in this movie that I find so intriguing, because that actually is what's happening, and then kind of ingrained into Judy Hopps's, you know, DNA in an extent. And because of that, like, she basically treats all animals that are predators that have this relatable gene problem, supposedly, because later on something happens where she's trying to investigate something where these missing persons, she finds out this otter that, you know, was her only lead, he just goes rabid and goes wild, and then all of a sudden, like, the guy that got scratched up, who was a limo driver, he goes rabid right on her, and then he tries to attack and proceeds to attack Nick as well. The thing that she didn't count on is the fact that Nick sticks his life out for her, as well as, like, he tries to really help her. Even though their first interactions, you find out he's a con guy, like, he's this, he's that, and she kind of blackmails him, you know, tell him about the hustle. And they just play off each other really well. It's really funny interactions that they have. And I have an interesting thing, a nudge about that in a little bit. But basically, long story short, you find out that there's some kind of way where the ravenous animals seem to be freaking out. They seem to be going rabid and wild. And in the scope of this film, Zootopia is a place where animals come together, regardless if they're, you know, lions, regardless if they're rats, regardless if they're, you know, pigeons. Like, they all work together. They've evolved past being and conforming to their instincts of just being, you know, volatile and doing the wrong thing, so to speak. And it's like now you got all these ravenous animals that are doing this, and so people are embedded with fear. And so she comes on top of what happened. She blamed the mayor, who was played by J.K. Simmons, and Idris Elba actually played the chief, which was really awesome. But for this, it was like, it was different because she uncovers it with the fox, and you come to realize that they really are having a really connection. You know, it's not just like her letting her guard down, he's let his guard down. There was one sequence where he was telling her the reason why, like, I am the way that I am is because when I let my guard down before and tried to associate with just the regular animals, like, and I didn't even have money for this, like, I was going and trying to be part of the troops, and they set me up. They put a guard around my face and basically treated me like an invalid, essentially, or like an animal, you know. And it's a play on words, because a lot of times when you try to associate with different people, like if you go and play sports or different things, and you have a common ground, people have a way of putting things in a box. And one of the things that Judy has said, she went up in front of everybody and overheard kind of what the line is said about that it's ingrained into their DNA. That the reason why they're going ravenous is because there might be reverting back. And that wasn't necessarily even the case. It was actually somebody creating something totally alternative, which I'm not going to spoil all that. But the thing was that by her saying that to the public, it left the public thinking and feeling fear that all animals that were ravenous, such as tigers or gazelles or anything that preys on the weak, they should be cast out. Even like one of her friends and colleagues that was like a pudgy, you know, kind of cheetah or whatever, like, he got racially profiled and pushed out. Like, he can't be the face of what people see, you know. And that's one of the things that actually happens in real life. And when this happens, like, Nick, he just starts to have these flashbacks of what happened to him. And he said to her, he's like, how could you do so, or say something like that? And she has said, like, you're not like them. And that comment just went on to another thing. It's like, what do you mean by them? Like a predator? That's what I am. And you know that's not who I am right now, because I haven't tried to eat you, I haven't tried to hurt you. And it breaks her heart, because she realized that because of the situation she had in her past, it caused arc in her heart and judgment that was preconceived before the fact of knowing that not everybody is the same. Just because certain people do bad things, it doesn't mean. And that could be in real life. Like, I grew up in the South, you know, and there's certain people that kind of act like more so like toned a certain kind of way as way that they interact with each other, regardless of race, regardless of my people or somebody else's. And I don't hold that into regard for everybody, because everybody's different. They come from all areas and aspects of the world, and that's the same exact thing that the way that this Zootopia is built. You got people in the rainforest, the tropical area that has snow in their area, and in the city environment, and it's like they thrive on that, you know. But the city got put into the stalemate because of the fact of what she said. And it was like, even though she went in with the right ideals, that one idea and that one piece of fear that she had held on to in her past, even though Nick was kind of like breaking that mold for her, it's turned into something terrible for the city. She quit, you know. And I thought that was one of the strongest moments, because after a certain point when she figured out, you know, what's really going on, she goes and reapproaches Nick, and she breaks down and she's like, I was wrong, basically, and that I'm sorry. And it wasn't just like I'm sorry that she like literally breaks down into tears. And I've had situations that happen to me like that, where people, they had this self-assessment of me, you know what I'm saying? And like before I even open my mouth, they'd already preconceived that this is how I am, or this is what I know. And I think that goes for everybody, regardless of what your race. Even if you're Caucasian, or if you're black or Latino or Asian, like, there are people that have their assessments of you before they know you. And the way to fight that and combat that is to really get to know, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's different moments in time where you're like, all right, I shouldn't be in the city at this time, because I might be left to jeopardy to somebody attacking me. That's all areas of the world. But not everybody is like that. And that's one of the things about this movie, the central theme, is that you got somebody that's got all these ambitions, such as her, like, from a girl standpoint, people saying that she can't make it, she can't do this, you'll never be this. That's an awesome lesson to be taught, that she thrived over that. But then the other underlying message is for Nick, and the fact of, like, he being racially profiled, him wanting to be good, but yet He's like, you know what? The society says this is what I'm going to be. This is how I am. Then I'll just be the best of that. And a lot of people do that in real life. And the only way that that can be combated is if we work together and we show love to each other and we listen and we learn from people, not displacements of what past or environmental perspectives that people have imparted onto us. And that's one of the things is I love about this film. I know I didn't necessarily talk about a lot of spoilers. I more so gave my philosophy and perspective on it because I couldn't go into that in the non-spoiler. But like I said, in the end, it was really cool. One of the other things I was really advocate for this movie, and that's my final point, is interracial relationships. And it it's implied that Judy Hopps has this thing for Nick. To be quite honest with you, like this is just my perception. The same thing happened in Star Wars with Rey and Finn, even though people are like, no, Finn was gay for Poe Dameron. Okay, yeah, you can assess that. But it is clearly said that Rey and Finn love each other. They have a genuine love for each other. They have great chemistry. There's immediate attraction from Finn's standpoint, and as well as Rey in just the way that she interacts with him. It's not just that he got friend zoned. It was like that wasn't something that she wasn't gonna allow him into her world. And the same thing happens with Nick and with this bunny, Judy Hopps. Like she was not gonna let this man into her world. It was like the things that she started to realize. It was like if you think about the beginning of the movie and look at how the first bullet she has, this fox, and how this thing, this person that she perceives as being a threat to her, you would never expect for her to interact in the way with Nick that she does. Like she generally, he said to her at one point towards the end, like, you know you love me, right? She's like, you know, I do. And it was like there are different moments that she's so vulnerable around him and so connected with him, it's implied a relationship. And I thought that was one of the things that I also was an advocate for this movie, even though it's only inferred or implied that there was a semi-interracial relationship going on. Like, or technically, literally, species relationship, which I don't know how that would work or how she would bring the family. I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of dating my partner who's a fox, even though fox was the one that kind of, you know, assaulted me years ago, that kind of traumatized me. You know, it's just, but I mean, that's one of the things that this movie does so well, and that's what I really loved about it, is that it goes there. You know what I'm saying? It goes against those things that adverse conversation would never allow. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't bring that up in open conversation, but this movie allows those things, those different issues to kind of get brought up. And I think that most reviewers that I've listened to haven't said this, and that's the reason why I wanted to kind of really go there. Anyway, that's my spoiler-filled review for Zootopia. I thought it was amazingly funny. I thought it was really daring, and I thought it had some great ideals and perspectives that we need to take in heart as Americans, as family, as friends, as child of God. And I just loved it. Anyway, hope y'all enjoyed this spoiler review for Zootopia. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. Peace, y'all.